Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. Today I am going to talk about live racing. I'm using the Mysterious Stranger account because it's simply easier for me to discuss and showcase things. Live racing is one of those things that in the beginning of the game they make it seem like it's pretty straightforward. Build a car, bring it into live, beat the other guy. How hard can that be? Well, there's a lot more to live racing than you think. And I'm going to try to break down some of the common points and issues that players run into when it comes to live racing so you can better understand it and hopefully better succeed at it in the future. If you're not struggling with live and you're doing great, obviously you can skip this video. But many new players and even some pretty seasoned players oftentimes ask me, what is the deal with this? What is the deal with that when it comes to live racing? So I'm going to try to give you as much information as possible in this video. I tend to get off tangent and ramble a lot, so bear with me, but I will try to break it into segments in the discussion to hopefully focus on specific issues. All right, point number one, and this is important. What car should I use for live? And what car should I strive for ultimately to use in live? Well, you're going to have to start with a T1 because that's what we all start with in the beginning. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with using a T1 in live until you have much better cars that are actually built to handle live racing down the line. So T1 is the start. And what is the ultimate cars for live racing? Well, at some point, you're going to want to move up to Tier 5 cars. Why? Because they give higher bonuses. Let's talk about that first. The base car itself. The more stars on a car, the higher the bonus, the base bonus. Mind you, this is a percentage. It's called a rare car bonus, and all cars that have permanent freshness also come with a freshness bonus. Now, your freshness bonus may be shown as higher than this because I'm not in a crew, so all bonuses are a little different, but the rare car bonus should be about the same. So the rare car bonus is based on the number of stars. The higher the number of stars, the higher the base bonus. Right here, 15. And purple star gets higher bonus than gold star. But not all of us are going to have purple star cars, and not all purple star cars are all that viable in live. So before we get too deep into that, the base understanding is you want more stars. Any car you use that has higher number of stars will give a slightly higher base number rear car bonus. So let's go compare that back to our little Abarth and let's see what its rear car bonus is in comparison. Because it's not that rare, but when you're trying to pull one of these Abarths, it's pretty rare. And then once you pull one, you get like 50 of them after that. All right, anyway. Rear car bonus is only 3% for this car compared to 15% for the other car. That is a big deal. Now, you also notice something else here. This big 10% bonus, elite bonus. Tempest bonus. Before you select the elite car, you really should pick to elite a car that you plan to use in live. Because live racing is where that 10% will really make a difference versus say if you're using it on the map races, you're only getting 200 plus RP, 10% of that is nothing. Versus a live racing with wildcard at 150%, you're looking at 3,000 plus RP per race, and you can get like a 300 point bonus per race out of that. That is where that elite bonus comes in. So keep that in mind. All right. So that is the tier and stars. So the more tier, the more stars, the better as a base bonus situation. What else affects your RP in live? Well, your Evo points affect your RP in live. And that again goes to the higher points here, same car, same build, it will make more points in live. So we have 483, 662, and 483, 176. Let's take it into live and do a back-to-back run, one with each, and see which one gets more RP. So here I'm going to take the higher Evo card in first, right? More Evo points should do better when it comes to RP generation. Oh, here we go. Here's some bots. This is another question I get a lot. What are bots and how do I identify them? Well, one, they always have cheesy names. They always have no crew. They always have some picture of some totally irrelevant thing. And these guys are bots. And they only pop up if the lobby doesn't have any players in it. So maybe I'll run a bot. Now, bots don't give the same RP as a player. So that's kind of a tricky thing to use them to identify the RP difference, but it may still show it. So a bot will always accept your race. A bot will never bet you, at least not to my experience, and I've been playing 3 years. I've heard it different, but I've never seen a bot bet me, ever. Chances are whoever bets you probably tried to make himself look like a bot and then just screwed you out of your money. So anyway, and the bots always run kind of mediocre times, but not necessarily terrible times, just not as good as most players would try to run. So notice how far back he is. Now I'm going to slow down because oh no, he's catching up. Whoops. All right, so I screwed that one up a little too much. Shouldn't slow down that early. All right, let's see. So he ran a 10.4. I ran a 10.6. I got 103 on losing. So I can challenge him again and actually beat him this time. That was stupid on my part. Maybe I'll get a live player for a change. Or maybe not. Let's see. They're all available. I can race one of them. Let me race a live player, see if I can. Yeah, the bots all left because this new player popped in. Once you get more than 4 players in the lobby, generally the bots go away. So connection failed, of course. Oh, now we're down a player. Let's try Mira. I see a lot of guys racing this car in live because it beats Dino pretty easily. Oh, thanks. Refuse to race. All right. So I got no bots and no players. Oh, now we're going to see bots again. We're down to 3. Oh, no, he came back in. All right, so when you only have 3, 4 players in the lobby is when bots will come. These guys must be bot hunting because he's refusing live racers and popping in and out, hoping to move to a bot lobby. I'll instead challenge this guy. Hey, if you let me race you, I'll leave the lobby and let you have your bots back. How about that? Come on, guys. There we go. All right. Little slow, but my device is running a little slow because it's Nox. And BlueStacks is crashing recently, so I can't even use it. So I'm stuck using Nox for this. Nox, not Noz, Nox for this one. All right. All right, so if I beat this guy, I'll know what RP I'll get, and then I'll come back with the other car, and then we'll compare the RP difference. That's the whole point of this exercise, and now I'm getting sidetracked. All right, come on. Let's go. Someday soon. Please. This is one of the frustrations in live, right? You sit there, you're waiting, and the other guy probably crashed, so nothing's happening. Today. Someday. Now, if he crashed, which he probably did at this point, because this is taking forever, once he leaves, the computer will start the race and let me finish, and then it'll say race abandoned or whatever. There we go. So he's not going to go. He's done. I knew just from the amount of time I was sitting there that, well, even if he goes, it's going to be one of those, oh, he's coming. How about, oh, he beat me. Okay. That was definitely weird. I guess it's a connection issue rather than something else. All right. I lose because he was still there. All right. He ran a 10-2 to my 12-0 because I slowed down. I'll challenge him again. This one is kind of weird. It's really slow. All right. Let's go, TIE Fighter. Hopefully I won't have to sit there 10 seconds waiting for the... I guess he's not going to accept at this point. He's probably still coming out of the lobby. That's all right. Oh, the bots are back. Because everybody else left. And here's more players, so these bots will disappear in a few seconds. Because as players come in, they'll push the bots away. You see the bots left? Yep, off they go. All right, so back to players. Again, 4 is usually the number cutoff. You get 5. Now, I really need to win one so I can figure out what my RP is. So I'm starting to waste time here. All right, here we go. We're going to race Fug Dug and see if I can win. I'm just going to go all out. This way I don't have any risk of losing and get it done. Now, the 4C is one of those cars that really beats Dino by a lot. So I slowed down a little bit at the very end. I still got my win, and I just want to see what it does. Okay, now let me see. Okay, so we made 660 RP with this car. Oh, he re-challenged me, of course. All right. You're mad that you lost. It's okay. Let's go again. Most people re-challenge you when they look at your time and they think they can get you. So he'll probably try to run a better time than what he ran. Again, we're talking about 662 Evo points. On a win, I made about 662 RP. Hey, that's pretty funny. I made RP pretty similar to what my Evo points was. All right, so again, this time I just let him have it because I'm not really here to keep racing over and over again. Let me go grab the other car, and this way I can, yeah, see, 10.097. So he knew he could beat that other time, so he decided to come back and do it again. That's all fine. I'm going to go back to grab the other car because I want to show you the difference in the RP. That's the whole point of coming in the lobby with this car in the first place. Let's jump out. All right. I can't resist. I got to hit this. Sorry. And what crap do I get for that? Oh, yeah. 17.8 in money. That is wonderful for completing all goals. Just what I was looking for. All right. So here we go. All right, so this one only has 176 points of Evo, much less than the other guy, right? The other car, same level of performance points, different tune, obviously. Hopefully I can still win. Notice it's a different lobby because it's a different car, but this actually affects your lobby placement. We'll talk about that later. First, let's see if I can actually win one, first of all, and then we'll see the RP difference. Then we'll talk about lobbying based on Dino after that. So he's probably running some kind of tune that beats Dino. I might be getting my behind handed to me on this one. It's all right. I forget if this is artificially tuned down. I think I'm just missing fusions, which is probably not a good thing. But oh yeah, that's part of the discussion too. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me see if I can not lose this first. Or lose this anyway. We'll see. He's coming. All right. I won. Yes. Okay. So let's look at the RP. Now, 176 Evo gives me 350. Remember, the higher Evo car got 662. This car, same car, with less Evo got less points. So Evo means more RP, and bigger Evo cars gets more RP. That is an important thing to pay attention to when you tune a car. You want Evo points, but you also want to win. So that becomes a balancing act. And now we're going to talk about the next piece of the puzzle, which is how the lobby works. So recap real quick. Higher Evo, more points. Lower Evo, less points. Okay? And that applies all the way through all levels of the tiers. And that also applies to higher tier cars. So we just saw how this stuff works with as far as the Evo is concerned. So here's another card, higher tier, even higher Evo, theoretically even better RP. Maybe, but 200 Evo isn't likely to make a huge difference. But let's use this card to talk about lobby brackets. That's the next thing you have to understand. Live racing is bracket racing. It's not you race everybody. You race everybody in your bracket. So there are two ways the brackets are set up in live racing. One of which is it's tier-based bracket first and foremost. So all tier 1 to tier 3 cars race together. And then tier 4 and tier 5 cars all race together. But in addition, the lobbies are broken further down by your dyno time and your opponent's dyno time. And it's like a big daisy chain within a certain dyno bracket. All right, so let me try to win this so I can get a nice number out of it to see if it's higher than the 4C, assuming I can win, of course, which I did. So let's take a look. So this has 804 Evo points, and if everything holds true, I should make more points in RP, and I do. 600 versus 762. So as you can see, higher Evo point cars make more RP. Higher Evo points come with more fusions. So you need fusions to live race. Don't drag a car with no fusions into live racing. Yes, you can still win, but no, you won't make good RP. You're going to make crappy RP, which kind of defeats the point of live racing. The whole point of live racing is to make big RP fast. You can go into live for an hour with a fully built tier 5 car with all bonuses and make 300,000 RP on a 150 card. Or you can spend that same hour on the same wild card and make 20,000 RP. What do you want to do, right? So you want to use high Evo and decent build cars for live racing, and that means you need fusions. Do you always need stage 6s? No. We'll talk about that later. But here, again, what I'm just showing you is, again, reinforcing the point: higher Evo, higher bonus, higher points. Okay. So bracketing. Let's go back and talk about that now. As you can see, I am winning in the brackets I'm in. Why is that? Well, let's take a look at the cars, and we'll better understand how the system works. So brackets, as I said earlier, T1 to T3 ends up in one bracket. And then T4, T5 cars end up in a different bracket. So what that means is Tier 1 and Tier 2, Tier 3 cars should never see a Tier 5 car in their lobby unless it's a bot. Okay, a bot is a computer opponent that is a filler for when there are no real players in the lobby. So a bot will always race you, a bot will never bet you, a bot never runs the best times, and they are never in a crew. So one of the quick ways to know someone's not a bot is if, no matter how cheesy their name is, if they're in a crew, they're not a bot. Okay, bots are just not in crews. And bots also do not appear unless the lobby is short on normal players. So a Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 car could see a Tier 5 car in the lobby, and if it's not in a crew, it's a bot. If you see a Tier 5 car in there and it has a regular racer's name, and or it's in a crew, and both, that's a hacker. Okay, don't race them. You're probably going to lose your money because they'll probably bet you money, and they're probably going to run like a 0.2 second run and make you feel kind of like, what the hell? Right now, obviously you could raise them and then report them. That's up to you. But those guys are not supposed to be in your lobby. Just the same, if you're in a Tier 5 lobby, you should, if you're slow enough, you see Tier 4 cars, but you shouldn't see a Tier 1 Abarth sitting in your Tier 5 lobby. That's a dead giveaway. Something's wrong. Okay, has the game ever glitched like that where they put like a Tier 5 car in a Tier 3 lobby? I've seen it. I've actually experienced it once. So it does happen, but it's very rare. And again, normally you shouldn't see that. Now, here's another interesting thing about high Evo, low performance point cars. You can have a car that has really high Evo, really low performance points. In fact, this is lower than stock. It's a glitch tune. And it will generate good RP. One of the concepts people always forget is they go, oh, well, the car's slow, so it doesn't make good points. This car runs almost a 16, and I can tell you it makes decent points. All right, let me see who I can race against. I'll race against one of these guys. 1467 Evo on a 472 performance point in a tier 4 car is unusual, to say the least, right? Since it starts at 500. So this is a specific glitch that affects this car and allows it to do this. And a lot of guys in this lobby won't race me because they know never race the Corvettes. Now, what I know is never bet money against a Dodge Viper. That's the other rule. Let's see. Let me see if Insane Expert here. He's got a Bentley. And he refused me. All right. I guess nobody today wants to take on the Corvette. For the sake of my video, I need to race one of you, so come on, somebody take the challenge. Now this guy might accept or may even bet money, because if he's got what I think he's got tuned, and he disconnected. Oh wow, not my day. Okay, can I find someone, anyone? I'm just gonna start challenging everybody that comes in here. Yes, GTR guy, you'll accept. I know you will, because GTRs run pretty good in this lobby. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. He'll give me a run for my money, I think. GTRs are actually not as bad as you think. But that's for, again, another discussion, another day. All right. So the Corvette with really high Evo, but really low performance points, still doesn't run that fast. I mean, it's just, it runs, but it's not quick. Okay, now it's apparently quicker than his GTR, so I'm doing good. I could slow down a little. So here, I just won, and I did a 16.3 to his 16.5. But look at the points. Yet again, slower run, slow car, 910, and that's was only with the 17% bonus. If you're in a crew, that automatically goes to about 1,000. If you're on a wild card, it'll be like 1,500 to 1,800 points. You could double, 150% of this is pretty decent, right? So this is another point of high Evo will get you the points you need. All right, and it goes back to the dyno. So to start, lobbying is all based on dyno. So let's go back and look at some different dynos and different brackets that we end up in based on that. So tier 4, tier 5 stick together, tier 1 to tier 3 sticks together, and then you're put together into a particular lobby based on your dyno. Let's go back and look at the dyno of the other cars, and let's see how that works. So if you have a car that dynos a particular number, and let's take a look at this white one, which dynos 11.2, versus the other one we have, because higher Evo means faster car, right? We know that from all the different videos I've shown before. Higher Evo, faster car. So this one dynos 10.2. That means when you go into a lobby, the lobbies are actually set up in dyno brackets. This is a concept that is the most difficult for many players to understand. The dyno brackets are, without getting into fine details, essentially every 3 to 4/10 of a second, it's its own bracket within the tiers. So every tier running from tier 1 to tier 3, together, all these cars together, they go into a lobby, they face cars that are within their dyno bracket time range. So if your car dynos 10.2, the bracket is likely the one from 10 second to 10.3. Now it might be 10.35, it might be 10.39. I've never researched it in that kind of a fine detail, but a general rule of thumb is every 3 to 4/10 is a bracket. So You start off from a solid number like 12, 11, and 10, and then you mentally subdivide them into brackets of 10.3, 10.3 to 10.6, 10.6 to 10.99, etc., etc. And as long as your car falls within one of those brackets, you should expect normally to face opponents that either run on the slow end, middle, or top end of that bracket. Obviously, people who run on the fast end may win more, and people who can break out of the bracket into the higher bracket would crush you. But the downside to breaking out, of course, is while these brackets are not defined as definitive fine lines of they must be kept within here or you immediately get kicked, the computer eventually will kick you from one bracket into a faster bracket if it finds that you're constantly running either at the bleeding edge of the top of the bracket or you're already in the slow end of the other bracket all the time. That will get you moved to the next bracket. So here I'm obviously in the 10.2 bracket. This guy running 10.2, I'm running 10.0, right? So let's see if I can bump my car. This may take a few races before it'll happen, but what I'm going to now do is I'm going to race a few guys and I'm going to go all out and get those 9.9 runs, and then let's see if we can't find us some 9.9 cars after that. That's assuming anybody will actually race me in the first place. Okay, because if I go all out, my car actually can break into the 9-second bracket. This is a 9-second car on a 10-second tune. So eventually, if you use the 9-second, oh boy, it's one of those things. Somebody will race me. Eventually, if you run a lot of outside of the dyno bracket runs, the computer will pick that up and say, hey, this guy doesn't belong here. Move him. And you get moved into a faster bracket. The more you break out of a bracket by per run, the faster you get moved. The other thing is, the closer your car is to fully maxed, the quicker it gets moved. Because fully maxed cars have an expected time range anyway, so there's no reason you should be running in the slower bracket anyway. Why are you in here is kind of what the computer's asking. Why are you even in here? You shouldn't be here. And once it sees that you're doing this stuff that is way faster, like 9.5 in a 10.2 lobby, which I just did, okay, and this guy ran outside of his bracket too. He's a 10.2, probably 10.1, running a 9.9. It may even bump you as soon as you go back to the lobby, or it'll bump you the next time that you move through the lobby. So here it didn't kick me yet. I'm going to keep doing this just to get myself kicked. I just need to find some more people to race against first. Let me add some gas. Right? So let's find someone who's going to come and race us. And I'll do another 9.5 a few times. And that'll get us kicked out of the lobby. Where are we at? Boy, it's not easy some days to find a race. This is typical frustration. Oh, he left. Come on, somebody, anybody. All right, let me see if I jump lobbies now, it'll kick me or not. Because that 9.5 is way under the 10.2 lobby. 10.0 to 10.3 is probably what that lobby is. I just did a 9.5, so it should put me into the 9.6 lobby right away. It may bump me at least into the 9.9 lobby when I come back. Yep, moved. See? So this is going to be faster cars. I can almost guarantee you that. So let's try somebody. These guys are going to be running. Oh, yeah, 10 grand. All right. That might be a mistake. Some tune to really run under the dyno. But again, if I am bumped into the right lobby, I may lose this. So let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. Off we go. Now, people forget how much the 4C beats dyno by, and oftentimes they come and challenge it thinking that it's going to be an easy kill. it's not. Just that most 4Cs have been around so long, they've already been bumped. Okay, so I'm in the 9 point something lobby already. Notice, this guy was confident enough that his 9.8 would eat me alive for 20,000 bet, but he didn't. I ran another 9.6, but notice I already moved up. So as soon as I do under the lobby bracket by a lot, boom, one lobby up. I keep this up, I can get 2 lobby up when I jump out and in again. That is the bump. That is how the lobby bracket works. It's not a bracket racing in the sense that if you go outside the bracket, you lose. Yeah, sure, you still win that race, but the computer will punish you by placing you with faster and faster opponents. And another issue with that is, remember, your car is tuned to beat dyno, but what if you tune it to where it only runs dyno? You'll get bumped even further. All right, at least that one race hasn't further bumped me yet. But, again, I ran a 9.69, which is almost in the 9.7 bracket, which is exactly what this bracket is. That's probably why I'm in here. But notice I left 10.2 with just one major run like that. So let's go back and look at the dyno of this car just to kind of reinforce my point. Again, dyno is actually a 10.294. So I started off in the lobby with the dyno, and now I am in the lobby I should be in when I have full evo. And technically, even with this dyno, I can run faster. But if you move it back to this dyno, watch what happens. I'm going to get moved out of that lobby. Now I'm going to face 9.5, 9.6 cars. And that is what happens when you tune a car to beat dyno, and then you set it back to normal, and you already been bumped. Guess what? The bump stays. So now, different cars again. You're going to face even faster guys now. Let's see, let me pick somebody who's going to race me. Anybody? Oh, there's only 4 guys in here. That's not good. All right. This guy will work. He may refuse me if he was bot hunting, but he may race me just to race me. Come on, buddy. All right, I guess not. Couldn't connect to him. Maybe he was leaving lobby and then coming back. I think these guys are looking for bots. That happens a lot. They're waiting for bots to pop up and only race bots because it's quick, it's easy, it's okay RP, and it's easy to get your keys that way. All right, see right there. You see the bots popping up. As long as there's only 3 or 4 players in the lobby, you get the good old land of bots. I'm going to take a bot on because the bots in T2, T3, T1 only runs about a tenth or 2 slower, unlike in T5 where it runs almost a tenth slower. I mean, a few hundredths. What am I saying here? No. In T5, it runs almost a full second slower in some cases. So let's see what happens here. This one should give me an idea what lobby I'm in, because I will make the adjustment based on the time the bot runs versus what the lobby should be. Now, I'm way ahead of him. That's not a good sign. That means he's running kind of slow. I did my 9.5. He should be doing about a 9.9 to 10. 10.2. Okay. So he's in 10.2. I know I'm not in a 10.2 lobby though. So the Evo the RP there's pretty good. 603. Remember, I'm only getting about 662 before against actual players. Let me see. Where are we at here? I just can't seem to find a player in this T2 lobby. That's what's killing me here. Alright. Still a lot of bots. Few players. That'll make the bots go away. Maybe somebody will race me. We'll see. Very hard to scroll along with this. Alright, so the bots are leaving. So if we get one more player in here, I can race somebody, hopefully. I'll take him. I just want to see what they're running. I mean, it's not even... I guess they're all bot hunting. That's because you saw earlier, the bots make almost the same RP that I make against a live racer, obviously you always win against bots. So some people like to race bots. They don't want to race other players because they don't lose. They don't have to worry about their tune, etc., etc. So, all right. My main goal here is to figure out what this guy runs and see if I'm thinking correctly here that I've been moved to a faster lobby. Remember, I had a 1 lobby bump. That means these guys should be running 9.5s at the minimum. Now, does that mean he's gonna? Yep, he's keeping up. Let me slow down. I'm not trying to take a win here. Let me see what he ran. 9.9. So it looks like I'm still in the 9.9 lobby. That's good. That's what my dyno says I should be in. So I'm still there. So my bump kind of disappeared when I retuned. Probably because I didn't run it too many times. All right. So that's the lobby bracket system, right? So you go from the dyno, then it start tracking what you run, and then what you run is what the lobby ultimately ends up being. Okay, now, so the goal is to win. At what point would the lobby become a way where you're not going to lose? Well, you're going to have to go up to something like this. Each bracket only has 2 points in which the tune and the dyno no longer matters. And that is the top end of each lobby. Tier 1 to Tier 3 has 1 fastest car, and they only end up against other fastest cars of the lobby. There's no chance you will face a car that is even faster, that is down-tuned, once you're here in this bracket, because this is the absolute fastest cars you will face, and that includes the fastest cars in the bracket. The bracket caps at this point, and the same applies in Tier 5 and Tier 4. If you have a 6.9 second car, you go into that lobby, you know at least if you run 6.9s, nobody there is going to beat you. All right? So if I'm running my 7.9s here, 7.8 whatevers, nobody in this lobby can beat me unless they just drive better. So here also, higher tier, slightly higher Evo points, again gives a good value on the return. 3-star car versus 2-star, 856. Remember the Honda Civic did about 820. So as you can see, more Evo points, more stars, more bonus, every little bit counts. But in this lobby here is the one lobby where you don't have to worry about somebody tuning to beat you, because you're at the absolute cap of the lobby. Only the fastest cars are here, nobody else. And therefore, you're not going to be able to, 1, get bumped, and 2, have somebody down tune and trick tune and beat you. So if somebody raises you 200K in this lobby, well, it's a fight, because then that means that person probably feels confident they can run the absolute best they can in a maxed out fastest Tier 3 car. Okay, so this is one of those lobbies, and the other ones on the Tier 5 end, you're gonna need like the SSC, what they call Tuatera, that car maxed to be in that lobby. And again, that pretty much makes sure that nobody can trick tune you and nobody can beat you for money. Now, speaking of dyno busters, right? You already saw the 4C is a dyno buster. 10.2 runs a 9.5. Dyno busters are not always a setup that is terrible on RP like this. This is a dyno buster, but when you run negative 885 Evo, and people do it all the time because they want to take your money, and it is a moneymaker tune, you can be dyno by almost 3 seconds with this car. 3 full seconds. Now, I'm not talking about 3/10 of a second. I'm talking about 3 full seconds. Which means when you go into the lobby against 13-second cars like these guys, you can take their money, right? But let me win a race, and let me show you just how little RP you get when you run a negative Evo tune. And this is why I don't run them, mainly because I don't come into live to make money. I can make just as much money in tier 5 swapping as I can betting. Now, obviously, if you bet all the time and you win all the time, you get money much quicker, sure. But ultimately, I don't need it to be done that way. So here, I'm already crushing the poor guy. I'm not even going to get out of second. I'm actually going to slow back down to first. Go back into second, slow first, go to second. And this way I don't beat him by too much. If I went into third, I would have just run out the back door there. All right, so 13.2, 13.498, 282 points is all I make. That's because of this. You know, this car's basically near fully maxed, has negative Evo, and therefore makes low Evo. And that is purely based on this. And you can see that even with tier 5 cars that really should make 1,000 plus RP per race, and is barely eking out 300. Well, that's worse than running a bot. So why would I want to do that, right? Because if you run a bot with a decent Evo car, remember we were making 600 on a bot. Here you're making 282 on a live racer. So negative Evo tunes, again, it can make you money if you want to use it to bet people, but understand, one, you're going to kill the car because it's probably going to get bumped, and two, you're going to make next to no RP. So is it really something worth doing? To each their own, right? I don't tell people how to play. If they like to use this to make money, by all means, do what you got to do. But just understand that doing this will likely get you out of this bracket after a while. Even slowing down, I ran a 12.7. And let's look at that RP, 225, right? So not very good at all. Now, some of you might be looking at my races and going, hey, your T2 4C there did 600 with a bot and about 600 with a live racer. Why would you even want to race the live racer? Why don't you just get keep racing bots? Well, that's because it's in tier 2. Let's go look at tier 5. Okay. Now, here's another point that I wanted to make about live racing. When you get up into tier 5s, people start to think, oh man, stage 6s, launch button, all this stuff, tune, it's so hard to win. Well, the thing about tier 5 and tier 4 cars is, one, this gets up there much easier. You can do a stage 5 only setup, many cars, stage 5 only, and it'll be well over 1,000 Evo, which is a benchmark point, because after 1,000 Evo, the increase in RP becomes slightly slower. From 100 to 1,000, the RP jumps with your Evo. So your Evo goes up, the RP goes up. After 1,000 plus, you really need to hit like 2,000 to get the final, 1,500 and above, almost 2,000, plus a high performance point to get to those final few hundred points of RP. So this will give you almost as good RP as any. So 10.567 is my dyno. And this car will outrun dyno slightly with the right driving technique in this particular tune. So we're going to go into live and compare this RP to our T2 cars. Speed Racer. All right, Speed Racer. Let's go. I kind of forgot how to drive this car, though. That's a problem. I tuned it. I figured out how to drive it. Now I'm driving all these other cars. Now I kind of forgot this one. Well, I'll do my best. He's got a Vanquish Zagato. Haven't played with that car much yet. Hopefully it's not a dyno buster and just destroys me, but... Oh, did it wrong. I was supposed to write out the gear, not. So I'm going to lose this one most likely. Yeah, ran too slow. 10.5 dyno. I just ran a 10.8. 10.5. So he's right on the dyno. All right, 186 on a loss. Let me try to get a win so I can show you the win amount. I shifted too early out a second. I knew it was kind of. I forgot exactly what I was supposed to do with this car, but I'll figure it out. Let's see. I should be able to run. Oh, he wants to race again. Sure. Give me another chance to try my shift patterns. I think I'm supposed to write out first a little longer and then nitrous in third. I'm pretty sure that's how I drove it. All right, let's do it again. Write out first, second, third. There we go. That's more like it. All right. Still ran 10.5 some. Not better than dyno yet. Probably need to let first or second run longer. All right, so I won that one. Let's look at the, there we go, 1,041. And again, remember, I don't have any crew bonus. That really should be more than that. It should be like almost 1,200 with the crew bonus. So you're talking about the difference between 800, 900 to 1,200 because of a tier 5 car. And this is with stage 5, and that T2 car was maxed. So there's a difference in T2 to tier 5, but another big difference which people forget is you make 12.6 per race. And if you're swapping, even if you're swapping back and forth, you make 12.6 and then nothing, 12.6, but this adds up much quicker versus the 2,000-3,000 per race you make in T2. And even up to tier 4, you only make about 8,000, so you're talking 4,000 less per race. This is where money, in the long run, if you want to also make money while racing, you're going to need a tier 5 car. It's just better. Without betting, of course. If you're betting a lot in T2, it doesn't matter. You're winning all these races with the $200,000 bets. You'll get plenty of money. But again, over time, that could either bump you if you're doing a dyno buster, or it can cost you if you have a bad run and you lose $1 million in 4 or 5 races. So it's kind of a personal choice kind of situation when it comes to betting. All right, this time I'm going to run through the gear longer. Let it run through, and then second, third. See if I can stay ahead of this guy. Oh, that run was better. Let me see what I did there. All right, finally beat dyno. Okay, yeah, I figured I should be able to do at least this when I drive it better on a 10.5.6 dyno. So he's going to challenge. This is a swapper. Okay, let's talk about swapping. Okay, that's another thing people don't understand. Lose one, win one. So he actually tells you he's going to lose the first one, and then he wants to win the second one. If his car, and this Z does beat dyno, if his car is tuned right, he could probably run a 10.3 this run and beat me even if I don't want to give it to him. But people who put this wins/loss or the little circle thing or the 1 win 1 loss, I mean, there are different ways they do it. The point is they're trying to tell you they want to swap. And that's something a lot of new players don't understand, or they don't understand why you do it. What a swap is you win one, but then you give the win to the guy on the next round, and then you re-challenge him, and then you get the win the following round. The benefit of doing this is, one, you're not sitting in the lobby waiting for another racer during this time. You're going boom, 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 back and forth. You rack up your money every win. You rack up your RP every win. The other guy gets his money and his RP every other win, right? Because you guys are alternating. Both of you win without having to stress about finding opponents, without having to stress about your dyno being wrong, without worrying about shifting wrong and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of nice. It's a strategy devised by players to kind of help each other in a sense, because we can't talk to each other in lobby, but it helps each other in a sense to make sure that you get your wins and losses and stuff in, so you make your RP quicker and you make your money quicker, especially during wild cards. you really don't want to spend half your hour of your 1 hour 150 card, one, trying to find a guy to race you, and two, losing to the guys that you actually raced against. So this is actually a good strategy. I know people say, oh, well, that's not racing, this is cheating, blah, 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 blah. Listen, it's a game, okay? I'm not on the racetrack with you. There's no real money on the line here. We're all just trying to collect more digital items out of the game. And a game maker will be happy to eat your money and give you nothing. So if the players are helping each other out, why are you complaining? Take it and get your milestone card, get your points, and spend less time playing the game and get more benefit. The top teams figured this out a long time ago. That's why all the top guys are out in the top lobbies swapping with each other, or with themselves for that matter. Because the end of the game point is you make points. You're not here to try to, do anything more than that, because the only way you're going to make... Alright, he doesn't want to give me that. I'm going to slow down. Alright, so he's not swapping with me now. He took 2 wins. I'm done. That's a good excuse for me to jump out anyway. I don't need to keep going anyway. The point is, you're here to make points. And if this way helps you make points faster, and you don't have to specifically tune a card to always win, there's nothing wrong with it. But do I like to win? Sure, I like to win. I wouldn't be here making this video and tuning my cards to be Dino if I didn't care about winning. So I do want to win, and I know how to set up cards to win, but the means to the end of swapping makes sense. And oftentimes it makes sense to me when I'm short on time and my crew is short on RP for me to just simply swap. Okay, so this is the 488 Pista with a stage 5 only tune. As you can see, it can be Dino a little bit, but it doesn't do a huge amount. But in the sense that it's a usable car in live, but you're at the slight mercy of other people because the way the car works. Some other cars are much better at this kind of a thing. Let's take a look at one of my favorite live racers as a way to kind of fit. Wait, how did I end up on this guy? This is not my favorite. Hold on. Go back. That was not what I expected. I hate that thing, actually. Those damn shifts are so fast, my fingers hurt after a while. Alright, no. The favorite is this guy. Okay. This guy here is what I call a natural Dino beater. There are many advantages to having a car like this that beats Dino naturally. It is tuned to max Evo, essentially. I haven't tuned it to have less Evo, so it's not a trick tune. It's a max Evo tune, and it dynos at 10.075. And it can run, I can even slow it down a little bit to 10.108 to keep it into the slightly middle of the lobby, and it can run under dyno just because that's the way this car works. That's a great thing, because you have the most Evo you can get out of the car. You're sacrificing none of it, and you beat Dino, and the car's not hard to drive. It's not easy to drive for some people, but it's not hard to drive. It's actually pretty easy to drive for me, because I have a system where I just drive it really simply and win. Okay, hold on. Let me try to find somebody to race first. Now, notice in 10-second lobbies you will see tier 4 cars. Once you get into the 9.5s, you won't, because the fastest tier 4 cars don't go faster than 9 point, I think it's like 9.9 or something. So eventually you're not going to see tier 4 cars anymore. In these slower lobbies, tier 4 guys always feel like the tier 5 guys are at a disadvantage because our cars are most likely not fully built. That's why we're in the 10-second lobby. What they sometimes don't understand is the reverse could be true. I could be fully built. I just slowed it down to that. So it really depends on who you're dealing with. Wait, I got a little lag there. All right. So what I do is I just kind of jump to 5th, and boom, done. Okay. That easy with that card. You just have to launch late. That card really hates perfect launch. And I just did a 9.964 on a 10.1 dyno. I don't want to do this too much because it'll push me into the 9.9 lobby. But here, I can beat any car that runs slower than that any day. And I actually slow down a little bit at the end, as you can see. It actually could do about a 9.8 full out. Slightly higher Evo again than the car that only had 1,100 Evo, but the jump is not as dramatic as, say, when you go from 500 Evo to 1,000. So, but 1068, if you keep adding the bonuses, this really would be about a easy 1,200 plus in a crew, and easy 2,400 with a 150 card. All right, so that is a natural dyno beater. That car is at max Evo, and I'm beating dyno, so I'm always winning. So I love this car for that reason. I recommend these kind of cars to guys that hate tuning, because you don't have to tune much. You just put it to max Evo, and you're done. You just run it and win it. For the guys that like to tinker, what it does is it opens up greater options for you in choices of cars you can select. For example, the Warsteiner 570 VX, when tuned to this kind of setting, can easily beat dyno by a bit, and therefore gives you options. This one is a slight natural dyno beater, and same deal as the car here. And this is another way of tuning I just want to kind of explain. This is called tuning to the lobby edge. I sort of touched on it with the red LB, but I didn't really explain it. So the brackets are set up from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, right? So 10.0 to 10.3 should be a lobby. If you're going to tune a car, you want to tune it where it can run on the edge of the lobby, meaning right near 9.0s, but don't dyno the edge of the lobby, because you want to try to stay in that lobby. So if you can dyno middle of the lobby or slow end and run the faster edge, your car will most likely beat 80% of the cars in the lobby, maybe 90%. The guys that are tuned the other way, like I do, which means I can run well under that time, but I choose not to, those guys can still beat you, but almost everybody else, you get a pretty fair shake at winning. What that means is if I take this Fenrir into a lobby, and I'm actually in the right lobby of 9.3 to 9.0, most cars in that lobby should run within that range. But if I drive this car right, I can actually get a 9.0 run out of it. Therefore, my chance of winning is good. This is called tuning to the lobby edge. You want to tune your car so that your car runs right on the flat numbers of the edge of the lobby, and yet dyno just a little bit slower, so you have the best chance of winning. This is a different strategy than tuning a car to crush dyno and then trying to just slow down so that you're always running on the lobby edge. So it's a different strategy. The advantage of this strategy is, of course, you're going to try to race the best you can every race, so you don't have to worry about slowing down. You don't have to worry about changing the way you shift. You're just going to shift the best you can and try to run the car the best you can, like so. Okay, it's an easier way to drive the car, and it is generally competitive as well. And again, the car runs just a little bit better than dyno. I actually didn't do that well this time, but this car will run 9.0 if I shift properly. Again, because I'm jumping from car to car, I have to kind of remember how to drive them each time, and it's a little tough to get the hang of it in one race. So we're talking about different tuning strategies. You can tune to beat dyno, you can tune to lobby edge, you can get a natural dyno beating car and stick with that. There are no wrong ways to do live. So the final piece is the tuning itself. That, unfortunately, is a huge discussion that really needs its own video. So I'm going to do that on a different video instead. But let me just once again kind of recap live racing based on this video. So one thing you need to understand, you can successfully live race in any tier, and as long as you have enough Evo points on the car, whether it's a T3, T2, or even our friendly little A-bars, As long as you have enough Evo, you should make okay RP. And with enough RP, it doesn't matter. The goal is to get the RP, even if right now all you got is an A-bar, and that's all you can race. As long as it makes enough RP for you to stay in your crew and make minimum, what's the big deal? The downside to lower tier is that you make less money. Therefore, you have to find another way to actually make money, which may include betting. If you go to the higher tiers, once you get into tier 4 and 5, your money per race gets pretty good. So swapping becomes a possibility. There's nothing wrong with it, and you can actually do that. So that's why you want to slowly move up into the higher tier cars. You don't need a max car to succeed in live, but you will be in a lobby where other cars may potentially be faster. The only way to not have a lobby where you could, one, get bumped or two, get beaten by a faster car is by having the absolute fastest car of the tier bracket, meaning the fastest T3 in the game, fully maxed, or the fastest T5 in the game, fully maxed. If you have that and you can run close to world record times, you will never get bumped and nobody will ever beat you. But I can guarantee you not too many people are going to want to race you after a while. So you got to consider all these factors when it comes to how you want to do your live game. My suggestion to most players, especially newer players, is get to T5, find one of these cars, or if you happen to have one. Obviously, a lot of the milestones will work too. That's why I kind of selected those cars here in this garage. You don't need a flash car. You don't need anything crazy. You just need cars that you can actually get fusions for, which means I always recommend Audi, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and McLaren because easy to get fusions for. Ford as well, but Ford only has very limited T5 cars. That's why it's a little tougher to focus on Ford, whereas Lamborghini has a lot of good cars in T5. McLaren has a lot of good cars, and Ferrari has tons of good cars. So those three brands, if you get a nice T5 cars out of them with 4 or 5 stars, and you can get the fusions filled out, they will make good live racers, and those are the ones you should focus on. For new players, start off with the A-bars or with the GTI. Get the hang of that, but understand once you get into the whole higher end lobby times, you have to always be aware that there's always going to be somebody who may be able to beat you. So take your wins and losses accordingly. Don't get too upset. Again, dyno busting is very easy with many cars. I would say 80% of the cars in the game you could set up with a dyno buster tune. So if I really want to just destroy a bunch of cars in live and just make a ton of money, I could. It's not really that much fun after a while. I mean, you need money, I understand that, but you know, you're kind of stealing it from other players in a sense with these kind of tunes. But if you know that you're facing this kind of tunes, take your $200,000 bets accordingly. Okay? All right. I'm sure there's some things more that you're going to want to ask about live racing. Feel free to do so in the comments. I'll try to answer them as much as I can. If we get a nice list of questions, what I may do is do a follow-up video that'll discuss more aspects of live racing. So, bottom line of live racing is 1, they're broken up into tiers. 2, they're broken up into dyno brackets. You must try to stay in those brackets while winning, or you potentially will get moved. And tuning can give you all different kinds of advantage in live racing, and certain cars naturally live race very well. You always want to elite cars and get the bonuses on cars that you plan to do a lot of live racing with, and you should always pick a car that's have a high starting rear bonus so the bonuses stack better and you get more benefit in the long run. You don't need a ton of cars to live race. I, on my veteran noob account, managed to get one of these during the event when this car was, I believe, Golden Cup or PC, I can't remember which, but I got one of these. I patiently built it up, filled it with fusions, and I'm running it without full stage 6s at all, and it has been great for the past 1,000+ miles. So this is with some stage 6s, but again, this car will do just fine with no stage 6s. I actually have a video of stage 5 setup for this car. You can search for that in my channel if you like. One of my favorites for live lobby use. All right, and that kind of concludes my discussion of live racing for you. It's, again, a little bit of a broad discussion with a lot of facts and bits and pieces all spread throughout. So if you have a hard time getting all that information in a way that makes sense to you, again, reach out to me and I'll see what I can do to explain it on an individual question basis. As always, if you like my videos, please subscribe to the channel. I always try to make these videos once every week or two to try to give you hints, tips, and advice. And I'm learning just as you are as I play the game. So if I find something new and I learn something new, I will share it with you guys through the videos. So please subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when I put them up. And thank you for watching my video. I'll catch you next time.